law.
Okay.
And I'll say, yes, sir, that's great. You're right. You got the law.
So you're
I have to go by the law, and so should you. But, I mean, that's your choice. I can't make you go by the law, can I?
Obviously, you can. You see that gun on your hip? The law is nothing but a judge's opinion, and you most certainly can. You see that coward button you put there in the middle of your chest as a reminder to everybody of the help that you can call available? You put that front and center so that people don't mess with you physically, because you know you'd be a wreck. You'd be wrecked, right? People who come in here and do it for free against you making your $16 an hour, whatever they pay you. Sorry, I didn't mean to insult you or anything. I'm just saying, like, you're standing on the word law and you don't even know what it is. They don't write down any laws. Watch the other videos I make. You'll see exactly what a law is and what it isn't. And you're just talking vague umbrella words. Again, not being specific at all. Just like every state employee. Well done.
I would like to be able to finish a sentence. Would that be okay?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
So I'm more than happy to do what you want me to do if you can show it on paper. Now, when you say, well, you just said the law to me multiple times, right? So I look into what does that word mean, right? There are no rules written anywhere by any legislative body, top to bottom in this country, that call itself a law. There's no U.S. Law 46.1, subparagraph B, Section 2. It doesn't exist. You know what does exist? Statutes and codes. The word law is just some really vague, big umbrella word that all of these other things fall under, so they can say, you got to obey the rules, otherwise we'll get the people with guns involved.
Oh, okay. But basically, we're splitting hairs on
We're not splitting hairs, and it's not some... I'm looking at the evidence on paper, sir. You're smiling and walking away from me.
Because I just defeated everything he ever used about the word law. I'm just looking at factual evidence, manifest reality, what is written down and what is not, by their own definitions and what they call it. The word law is a word of indoctrination from when you're a kid to tell you, you must obey our rules, otherwise you'll be put on the endlessly escalating coercive threat of violence staircase, right? To where you will obey at a certain point, or we'll take everything from you. I don't care how small the infraction. You disobey long enough, we'll take everything from you, even your life. If you don't show up, a bench warrant will be issued, giving a man like this authorization to use comply or die force. And if you resist with enough force in the self-defense direction, they will kill you. You have a right to life, liberty, and property. Yeah, right. And that will be protected because you're going to be given due process first? Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Why is that?
Because I'm done. I tried to be nice to you. I tried to explain to you. So whatever happens today happens, okay?
Okay, so why are you disengaging? You said you wanted to talk, but as soon as I start spitting truth, you know you can't stand it, and you walk away?
He doesn't... I mean, obviously there's nothing to be worried or nervous about.
If everyone else had this kind of courage, you wouldn't have to pay these kind of nonsense fines for non-violent victimless criminal charges. This is silly. You don't owe them anything.
Now, when I heard me say this on the replay, I kind of cringed a little bit. It's like, if everybody else had this kind of courage. I'm not saying I have any kind of extraordinary courage, because this is just how I am by default. I can't stay away from this stuff. I'm not going to pay bullies lunch money during the recess. I'm not. I don't think that's anything special. Anybody who's been in a battle zone has done things way more brave than I am doing here. It's just another way to call out the cowardice of the sheep behind me. I can't say, you guys are a bunch of cowards, and if you weren't, we wouldn't have to pay any of this. And so I have to say, look, if y'all had this kind of courage, then we wouldn't have to pay this. I'm not trying to point at me. I'm trying to point at them because, I blame the ignorant, selfish, deluded, head-in-the-sand, sheep-like public every bit as much as I blame bailiffs and lawyers and judges. The civilization has the government that it more or less deserves, right? I mean, that's a famous saying from somebody I can't remember, but I believe it's true. And so it's just kind of me calling them out there. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, trust me, ugh.
Am I wrong? How many of you have actually hurt somebody and that's why you're here? Am I wrong? You think this is easy? You think I like doing this? This is embarrassing. I have to because they're getting away with this type of thing. And I'm not going to violate anybody's privacy, I promise you. So
We still got to follow the laws of the land, man.
you don't.
We should.
Well, if you believe you do, then you're correct. I go against that. You believe you do, and so you will. Just because you've done that your whole life doesn't mean you have to do it tomorrow. How do you think I came to do this? Because I get away with not having to obey the Bible. I'm sorry?
Apparently you don't read the Bible.
I rely on factual evidence.
Even that young woman over here was like, oh God, like he did not just say that. This gentleman, poor guy as he is, all due respect, believes that obedience to the law of the land and judges is synonymous with obedience to God. How much more brainwashed do you have to be? You ever heard of the separation of church and state, buddy? If your Bible-thumping ways tell you to obey cops and judges, they are one and the same. All right? These people know the nature of human nature so well that they know they have to address the quote-unquote unknown spiritual component of humanity. But they can't do it with government because all these different cultures from all over the world interpret this and fulfill this need for spirituality in different ways, in ways that they'll go to war over. If they could have one government, one church, oh, they would. You've seen that happen to so many countries in the history. But they can't. And so they make, yeah, have your religion, have your freedom of religion, but we're going to structure them all in the same kind of hierarchy and type of authority in the invisible and the imaginary to be synonymous with the hierarchy of the state, of government. So that they model and reflect each other exactly so that it'll be so much easier for, if you obey one, you'll want to obey the other. And this poor sap is a prime example of a victim that has fallen for it. And it's just so twistedly odd just see that in the flesh and hear him say that. The man is chained to the wall in complete slavery and he does not recognize it in the least. It's powerful, it's tragic, it leaves you speechless. Let's